Welcome, everybody. We're going to just give about a minute more for people to start joining us, and then we'll get started. If you're just entering, we're going to wait a minute or so to let more people join. Usually by session 2, people start getting 2 to 3 minutes behind time. So I want to make sure that everybody's here when we start, but we won't wait too long because we want to make sure we have time for the presentation as well. Welcome. If you're just entering, we're going to take just another minute to wait and let people join as people are coming out of other sessions, but we'll get started really soon. All right, I want to make sure we have time for the presentation. I'm sure people will join us as we go. So welcome to connecting MEP students to Chemeketa camp. And a few quick housekeeping things before we get started. Please show your support by keeping your mics on mute when you're not speaking. Please use the chat box to sign in. So I haven't seen anybody do that yet. So please sign in with your name and region so we can track who's attending the different sessions. This session is being recorded. Hopefully you saw that announcement as you joined. So if you would like to turn your camera off during the presentation so that you're not in the recording, feel free to. And now I would like to introduce you to Liliana Landa-Villalba. She is the director of the camp program at Chemeketa, and she's going to be presenting for us today. Liliana, go ahead.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. To the OMESC staff, thank you for joining our session. We're going to be speaking about connecting MEP students to Chemeketa camp. So with me, I have Juan Saldaña, and I'll let him introduce himself in just a second. I do have another staff who is currently meeting with the students, so we'll have her join fairly soon. So Juan, do you want to please introduce yourself?
Sure. Good morning, and thank you for attending. My name is Juan Saldaña. I am one of the recruiters and advisors for the camp program here at Chemeketa Community College. Again, thank you for joining us this morning.
Great, thank you, Juan. Yes, and as Naomi mentioned, my name is Liliana. I am the director of the camp program at Chemeketa. So maybe some of you are familiar with camp, some of you may not, and that's why you're here to learn about the camp program. So we're gonna learn a little bit about what is camp, what do we offer to migrant students, what kind of support, and also very importantly, how you can help us connect students to this wonderful resource. So I'm going to be sharing my screen, and also we're going to be sharing with you the link to the presentation so that you have access to it. I do have wonderful links in the presentation slides, so if you want to bookmark that somewhere, I would encourage that. All right, so let's get going with the screen share. All right, can somebody give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen? Thank you. Great. All right, so to get us started, yeah, what is CAMP? College Assistance Migrant Program. That's what CAMP stands for. And so this program is federally funded to support migrant and seasonal farm working students and their family members who are starting their first year of college. So we do this camp. The goal of camp is to serve students, to help them complete a first year of college, and eventually to help them get a degree. So we are specifically going to be speaking today about the Chemeketa camp program. There are currently 3 camp programs in Oregon, Chemeketa being one of them, and the other institutions that have a camp program are Oregon State University and Portland Community College. So I have dropped some links there. If you are in a region that is that would serve students in that area, definitely feel free to check them out. We support each other, we work together, we often meet to get updates of how programs are doing. Currently, most recently, challenges due to COVID. So yeah, please hope that you can walk away with some information today about camp in general. And like I said, I'll be mentioning a lot of Chemeketa specific things, but please do know that Oregon State and PCC do have 2 other camp programs.
Liana, there's a question in the chat from that slide. Is Treasure Valley Community College still camp as well?
Great question, Robert. Thank you for asking that. They do not have a grant program currently. They did finish their 5-year cycle last year, from my understanding. So I do not believe that they currently have a grant camp program. I do believe they have a HEP program, though, high school equivalency program. So camp and HEP are sister programs. We serve the same population of migrant and seasonal farm working students. And high school equivalency program, for those of you who are not familiar, they help students complete, get high school completion. So that's the focus of the program. Thank you. Yeah, so with this slide, we just wanted to share with you our students that we serve at Chemeketa. You know, we serve a diverse group of students from various areas. I dropped some of the high school names here in this slide. We have students as far away from Ontario who choose to come to Chemeketa, who choose to be supported by the camp program. And for those students, we are enriched in our cohorts. We're very lucky to have those students who are making, you know, different arrangements, different plans, sacrifices to start their college journey. So a lot of students, of course, from the Salem-Keizer area, in the Newburgh area. We also have students from McMinnville, Dallas, Jefferson. So this is just kind of throughout the last few years, this is kind of represents where our students are coming from these various high schools. All right. So with this slide, I'm going to turn it over to Juan, and he's going to be speaking about the eligibility requirements. What does it take for a student to join the camp program?
Thank you, Liliana. So we do have different options here to be eligible for the camp program. I'll go over a first section of meeting one of these 3 requirements, and there's a few others that we have on the next slide. But first, if the student has participated in an education or a migrant education program and they have a COE on file, or a COE we can obtain, they may be eligible. So that's one factor. The other one could be if a student or an immediate family member has worked in migrant or seasonal farm work for at least 75 days in the last 2 years. So if we can receive either check stubs, this could be W-2 forms, and of course the work has to be considered migrant or seasonal. And again, this could be the student, if the student has working maybe summer jobs, that's maybe harvesting, those hours could be added up, of course, and same with the parent. If it is a immediate family member, it could be a parent or a sibling as well. But the hours have to be totaling 75 days in the past 2 years. Option 3 is if students have participated in the National Farm Worker Jobs Program. That could be another option. Their eligibility is very similar to ours, meaning they have that 75 days in the past 2 years. But if they worked specifically with the National Farm Worker Jobs Program, again, they could be eligible for our program. Okay, so the second part is the student has to have a high school diploma or a GED by the time they start our program. So of course, when they're applying, they may still be in high school. Hopefully they're still in high school, or maybe they're still working with the HEP program here, or they're working with their high school counselors to think about Chemeketa as a possibility. But when they actually start, they have to have their high school diploma or a GED. They have to be considered first-year college students as well. So we look at this based on number of credits they've earned at the college. So that number is around 36. So if the student has earned college credits while high school student, those aren't counting against them. So they can still, I think, have as many as they like to transfer in. But if the student is already attending college or has prior college credits that are about more than 36 credits or so, we might not be able to help them. That might be a case by case depending on how many credits they have. And again, when they earned them and where they earned them. The other one here is they need to be planning to be attending full-time. So the full-time meaning 12 credits. We do offer some classes, and we'll talk about those in a bit, but we can help try to reach that 12 credit mark. We do, of course, help with education plans as well, and we try to find a good balance for the student. Everyone's a little bit different, so some may want to start around 12, and some are, are better prepared and want to take on more. Again, we work with them to make sure that they're taking what they feel comfortable with and something that's well balanced. The next item here is that they do have to be a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident. So that would be the other qualifier. Unfortunately, we are not allowed to serve students who are DACA or undocumented, but we do have another great service here at the college that could help those students. It's called CCP, and again, we'll talk about that one in a bit as well.
Great, thank you so much, Juan. I'll be looking in the chat box if there's any questions about eligibility, and of course, we'll give an opportunity at the end of the presentation. I'm gonna move to speak about the camp services. So why do we want students to join camp, right? What do we serve them? What would be a benefit to them? So our services are broken down in 3 categories, one being academic support, another financial support, and finally personal support. So with the academic side of things, and something that is extremely important for students who are first generation, right? When our parents didn't go to college and maybe our siblings haven't gone to college, academic advising and success coaching is extremely helpful and beneficial to the students. So with academic advising, someone like Juan would be helping the students make sure they understand their placement scores, make sure they understand the degree that they can seek at Chemeketa and earn, and what classes does it take for them to complete that. So something that could be very frustrating would be choosing the wrong classes, right, for the degree that the student needs to complete. And with the camp program, you have somebody working with the students who is really looking out for them, making sure they're making really great progress to their academic goals. With the success coaching, this is another piece that's very unique to our program and other college access programs in our department. So we have someone also like Juan, who is really taking the time to make sure that the student has the support they need. They're discussing any barriers that are coming up for the student and trying to problem solve those barriers, whether they are academic barriers or where they are personal barriers at home. So we have somebody like Juan constantly looking out for the student, making sure that they are making progress. So it's very helpful to have someone to be guiding students in that sense. We also have student success courses that we offer to our students during their first year, during their time with the camp program. And we offer at least 1 class every term. So for example, for the fall term, we offered a career class to our students. And so this class is taught by a faculty member who has great knowledge of our camp population. He was a camp student at one point, and so he greatly understands our population. And so being able to have that type of interaction with the faculty member who understands where our students are coming from is really, really important. And also, just the fact of taking the career class, guiding the students to make sure that they understand what are the possible careers, and also understanding what am I looking for a career, and understanding, what are my values, what do I think I want, and what is my knowledge, or what would I like to learn. So it's a great class for the fall term. Other classes that we offer are scholarship classes, transferring to a 4-year college, understanding those processes. Just to name a few classes, those are some of the classes that we are offering to our students. They are tuition free. We are not charging students for these classes, so it's a great benefit because it's leaving money in their pocket. yet they're learning, they're getting credit, and they are able to apply it to their electives classes as well. We also have tutoring that's available to our students to make sure that they're being supported that way, especially in the areas of math, reading, and science. Our students have the opportunity to work with tutors to help them. One of the other things that we are hoping to do this spring, we have not been able to do that for the last 2 springs due to COVID, has been campus visits. We want to help students start thinking about the future. If they do want to transfer, exploring that part of the transfer process, making sure they're making their way to a 4-year university and seeing which one they would like to transfer to. With the financial support, we offer students textbook assistance, calculators, and netbooks. So these are things that are ultimately saving a lot of money in the students' pockets because we are allowing them to take these items from the program and use them. And also, we just try to maximize, if they are getting financial aid, spend it on tuition, spend it on fees, save it if that is an option, and just being able to support students with those things is really helpful to them. We're also provide transportation assistance to students. So as I mentioned earlier, we do have students who are coming to our campus from various areas, Jefferson, Albany. We have a student from Albany this year. And it does take a toll on our pockets if they're driving to campus multiple days a week. So we can provide that type of assistance. We also provide bus passes to students who live locally because that also saves them money. We are offering students also stipends. Our students get to have something extra, something not that it's going to pay their whole tuition off because our stipends are limited. But it's meant to really just give you that extra spending money, whether you're buying lunch in school or whether you need another, supplies for school. It's a small stipend that we can provide to students. We have also a resource center that our students get to spend time here on campus, and we highly encourage students to spend time on campus. Our resource center is equipped with computers, with free printing, also where our tutors are helping our students. So it's a really good environment for them to be able to focus and to be efficient with their studies. So we can offer that to our students. It's not for the entire Chemeketa population. So it is an added benefit to the students. In addition, we also have an opportunity for students to do a CLEP exam. So a CLEP exam allows students to test specifically for language credits for Spanish. Many of our students' first language is Spanish, and so in order to maximize their time here and to save them money, a CLEP exam is a great opportunity for students, especially those that transfer 2 years of language, and by taking one exam, and we are also paying those fees, it's really, really a great thing for our students. So those are some of the financial support that we're offering to the students. In addition, we are offering personal support to students. We have a mentoring program where former camp students are helping our students as mentors. They are students themselves still, but they've learned a lot through the first year of attending Chemeketa. And we have great success with their mentors because they're often wanting to be mentors because they want to pay it forward to other students and teach them what they've learned. And of course, they get guidance from their mentor supervisor, Juan Saldana. And so we're often checking in with our mentors, and they're a great resource to us and to the students. We have also for our students, personal and career counseling. So we have a very qualified counselor, our faculty member, who meets with our students to make sure that they're adjusting to transitions, to make sure that they're feeling heard, to make sure that they're feeling well. It's, of course, so important to have those things in place in order to succeed in school. So that is one thing that we are often referring students to our counselor for support. Finally, we have opportunities, many of them for social and leadership activities. We'll invite our students to conferences. We have events, and we'll be sharing a few pictures here where you can kind of get an idea of what we've been up to these COVID times with our students. But Camp is a community. You know, we greatly care about the student success. We're very invested. I think all of us staff have been former, whether it's camp or MEP, and I think all of us former Chemeketa. So we have a deep connection with the students. We really want to see them succeed, and we're really invested in them. So it's just a great community to be a part of. And let's see here. Yeah, so here is our camp cohort. We had our face-to-face orientation this late in September. And so just a really great time connecting with the students face-to-face, of course, and following our COVID protocols. Chemeketa has been great about giving us, you know, the guidance in order to have these types of events. So yeah, this is just, you know, these are the students that we work with. I'm sure these are some of your students. And so we're just so fortunate to have the opportunity to help them get started in college and learn a lot about themselves this first year and just help them transition and move on to the next goals. We recruit 50 students every year. And so we are currently actually looking for 50 students for next year. We started our efforts, and we will be sharing with you some things that you, if you have any students who are interested in coming to Chemeketa, please do connect them with us. We help them as early as them applying for Chemeketa admissions and doing their placement and doing their FAFSA. So we're a resource to them. So please definitely let us know if we can assist you or assist them. So this is a social that we recently had a few weeks ago. So we did a painting night, and you know, just took a break from a lot of studying, and we had an instructor guide us through a painting class. It was a very relaxing time. It was a great time. So great group of students just enjoyed that activity. Another effort that we've been having through this COVID times has been Adelante Campers. So Adelante Campers has been an informal time for us to meet with students, to see them, to connect with them, to hear from them. At that time, we kind of let our guard down to say, you know, we don't want to do like, hey, you gotta do this, or don't forget to do this. No, we stay present with the students. We hear from them. We learn from them, and yes, we present information that's gonna guide them and help them, and words of encouragement, but it's more of a really personal thing that we're doing with them. We meet with them every week, every Monday, and they know that we're doing that. We're remaining consistent so that they can come. They can do their Monday mindset, right? This week, these are my goals, and this is what I need to focus on. And, you know, this is what I need help with. We encourage them to talk to us, to let us know. And so we've been doing a mix of virtual meetings as well as face-to-face. We alternate each week. And so this is our upcoming, this Monday, we'll be doing our Zoom session as we did our face-to-face this week. And so, you know, once again, these are your students, and you've guided them, you've helped them get here. And so we're thankful to you for that. And another activity that we do every year has been our family nights. You know, to be honest with you, we've called them parent nights in the past, where our students get to invite their parents to be part of meetings. Recently, we have been adjusting to call them a family night, because our student situations are dramatically changing, right? They're unaccompanied youth who live with relatives or are on their own, or their parents have passed. We've seen that so much, you know, recently. So these are family nights where family gets to learn of how can I support my student who is new to college, first year to college, educating a little bit about the process of going to college. And, you know, also the calendar, right? We don't want students to make travel arrangements during finals week. So we try to educate students. We try to, and their families, to make sure they understand the importance of them feeling supported. And we're a team. We'll let them know that we're a team. We're all here to support the students, and, you know, just share a little bit of knowledge. And it's great to get to know the families too. Yeah, so this is a few other pictures, recent pictures, our leaders. These are our leaders, some of our leaders helping us. They're also too very invested in the success of the students. Like I said, they want to pay it forward. So we're very, very lucky to have them. We can see in the left picture, Juan Saldana doing a workshop for the students. So it's a great group, and those are great pictures that I like to share. So with that, I'd like to introduce, I do believe Isamar has been able to join us. She was meeting with the student. And so thank you, Isamar, and welcome. And if you want to introduce yourself, and if you want to tell us a little bit about how to get started with camp.
Of course. Thank you, Liliana. Good morning, everyone. Buenos dias. I hope that the beginning of this conference has been very fruitful for you. My name is Isamar Chavez, and I work as one of the success coaches and recruiters for the camp program. And yeah, I'll share a little bit about, how students can get started if they want to come to Chemeketa and apply for the camp program. One of the first things that we encourage students to do is apply for Chemeketa admissions, which takes around 15 minutes. It's a free application, no cost at all. And students normally get notified of their student information 3 to 4 business days after. The next thing that we encourage students to do is apply for financial aid, particularly filling out the FAFSA. The FAFSA will be very important because they will be provided with student aid report, also known as SAR, that they'll be needing in future, particularly for the camp program application itself. But also for applying for the FAFSA helps them with applying for being eligible to receive other types of aid, such as the Oregon Promise that we encourage students to take advantage of if they are planning to come to community college, where they are able to get 2 years of assistance with tuition. The next thing, we also encourage students to look at scholarships like OSAC. And particularly, we have Chemeketa specific scholarships available for students through the Chemeketa Foundation Scholarship. And then apply for camp, but we help them all throughout the process of, if they want to get connected, we can help them with admission. We can help them with their FAFSA. We can help them with their Oregon Promise and looking for scholarships at Chemeketa and elsewhere. The camp application itself is an online application that we have available on our website. And so the camp application itself is filling out some information, asking questions about, migrant seasonal farm work, or participation in the migrant ed program, or participation in the National Farm Work Jobs program. So that takes itself like around, and it has, it also has a essay question where you could ask some, we'll have the opportunity to learn more about the students based on, what challenges they're facing coming into college, and what is that they hope to study or continue to explore as their professional journeys are beginning and academic journeys are beginning. Particularly once that application has been done and submitted, some attachment that they'll need to send to our email would be either a copy of their high school transcript or GED certification or a transcription from their GED program. The next would be to complete a placement assessment form that determines the levels of reading, writing, and math. And right now, this is all online as well, and we have a link where they could be directed to that, where they enter information of what they got from their English classes and math classes, to match the appropriate levels of reading, writing, and math levels. And we'll need a copy of their student aid report that can be found through their FAFSA portal. And for proof of migrant eligibility, depending on how they answered the question in their application, recruiters myself and Juan, we look through if they marked yes that they participated in the migrant education program. We typically have a process where we send them a pre-filled out form letter where they fill out their name, asking for that they give us consent to look up their certificate of eligibility um, that demonstrates their participation in the migrant education program, where we ask where they or their parents, if they're under the age of 18, fill out the form. And then we send that request and track that for them. If they marked that they come from a migrant or seasonal farm working background, we can get copies of their W-2s or pay stubs in order for us to document and run a formula that counts for at least 75 days in the past 2 years of any type of eligible seasonal farm working background. And we have this checklist provided in our link tree, which we created this like a one-stop shop for students or prospective students or MEP partners to look through the links. So for example, here we have a video kind of going overview of our services and eligibility, talking more a little bit about that, link to our website, opportunity for them to connect or anyone to connect with the camp recruiter, where you'll get taken to a profile where you can select the link to make an appointment, and you can select either in-person or virtual appointments formats with either Juan or myself. And we have access to, yep, mine looks a little bit different. You select the times that work best, select 30-minute appointments, in-person or Zoom, and we can accommodate. Then we have, our application portal, but down at the bottom, we have the application already up for next. So we have included a checklist and our application itself, where students have access to this information. And we're more than happy to always help. Our information is down there. We have all the links to applying for admissions, applying for financial aid, Oregon Promise, all listed in that website there, and listed to the checklist that already takes students to where they need to go. And of course, our contact information, whether through call or text or email, that students could access us. And yeah, I think I know when I was working with students before COVID, we were doing paper and transmitting information. It can be kind of confusing when every information is kind of spread out. So we've gotten good feedback from some students that they like that things are in one place, accessible that way. But of course, we are also able to help students if they don't have technology computer. We can have them come to campus, get started on an application, help get them connected to a computer to start the process of what is required. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Isa, for covering that. Really, really important information. We definitely want you to have that resource to know where you can go to direct your students to Chemeketa. The link tree, please bookmark it somewhere, or these slides where you can access that. You can definitely always have access to. We also have links to just general Chemeketa links, admissions, placements, scholarships. Feel free to use that far and wide with any students that you would find helpful. Thank you, Isa, for sharing the link tree on the chat. So yes, as mentioned, CAMP is a federal program, so it is going to require that students are either U.S. citizens or legal residents, as Juan mentioned. Unfortunately, this is not open to DACA or undocumented students, but we often, if we find in the situation where a migrant student is interested in services and support, we are going to refer them to the Chemeketa Completion Program, also known as CCP. So students receive similar support, guidance, support, success coaching, advising, textbooks, a community of support. And for that, the eligibility is quite different from CAMP. You don't even have to be a MEP student. So any student that you work with that are planning to earn a degree or a certificate from Chemeketa, they can even be part-time students, and they have to just demonstrate that they're committed to completing education, that they want to receive this additional help. So the CC program is definitely a great resource for those students. So once again, yeah, the services are very similar, and we can drop the application link as well here in the chat box if you have a student in mind that does not qualify for CAMP, that you can share this with them. They work very closely with the TRIO program here at Chemeketa, so please do refer them to this valuable resource. And I think that's kind of our main presentation. We definitely want to leave a few minutes for questions. We are your friends here. Please contact us. Please email us, visit us. Anytime you want to come over to Chemeketa, we'd love to have you come over here and meet us, meet our students, meet our college. And there's various ways to contact us. Of course, via our link tree, you can find some of our emails and phone numbers, and also our website, social media. We have Facebook. And so this is the team, and with your support, of course, we get to do this valuable work of supporting migrant students at Chemeketa. Are there any comments or questions?
So thank you, Liliana, Juan, Isamar. That was an amazing presentation. Really clear paths to the resources that you offer, really amazing resources that you've developed. We do have a solid 10 minutes in this session. So if you're present and you have questions, you can unmute yourself or you can ask in the chat, and we have time for some Q&A.
Liliana, this is Rosa from Newburgh. When is your deadline for students to apply for this incoming school year?
Yes, thank you for that question, Rosa. We don't have a solid deadline, Rosa, which is kind of good and bad, right? Sometimes students do need a deadline, kind of motivates us to take action and to do it. However, if we have space in the program, we're going to be accepting students until we're full. So if you have students who are interested in starting next year, the application is open, it's available. And they should turn it in as soon as possible to definitely get a spot in the program. If any of you are working with any graduates, we're actually still have a few remaining spots open even for this year. So it's late in the year, it seems like, but we do have a few spots, and we'd love to connect with you if you have any students who've already graduated or who are going to be early graduates as well. We can connect them to either this school year or the next academic year.
Yeah, that was my next question. If you still have spots for students that are going to start, they would like to start on the spring or the winter break.
Yeah, we might. Yeah, definitely send them over, because we would love to either accept them for now or for next year. That would be something internal that we could figure out, but we'd love to guide them in getting them started.
And another question is, students they're still doing online classes or just in campus, or they're doing hybrid?
Yeah, they're actually doing, some students are doing a combination of those things. We do have about 25% of our courses at Chemeketa are face-to-face. We also have hybrid options. We also have completely online options. We are here, the camp team is here, usually Monday through Friday. I think our department wants us to be here Monday through Thursday, but look at these champions of student success, Isa and Juan, here in the office, always looking out for the students, needs of being here and meeting them. So we, our students are doing a combination of those things.
I'm sorry, I'm taking all your questions, but also, is it only for students, or can any adult attend this program?
Yeah, thank you for that question. Although you see the younger students in the pictures represented, there is no age limit. No, absolutely. We've had students, yeah, parents and son or daughter together at the same time in the program. There is no age limit to be in camp.
Thank you very much for all the wonderful information.
Yeah, thank you.
Liliana, this is Olivia. Nice to see
Hi,
you.
Olivia.
Nice to see you, Isamar and Juan. A long time no see you, huh?
Yes.
I remember that at one time, camp used to request copy of the COE just to verify the student information. Are you still requesting the copy of the COE? So if we have a student that request, we can provide it so that the way you verify the eligibility.
Yes,
Is that
absolutely.
still happening?
Yeah, so that is one piece of documentation that helps them, complete their file, a COE, whether it's active or expired, it does not matter. We will serve a camp student who has been in MEP, even if they're not currently in MEP. And I need to send a quick shout out to Ramon Gutierrez. I know some of you know him. He actually referred to us a student that was formerly MEP. And so we knew that Ramon sent her to us, and we're very thankful for that referral. But yes, we do want a COE. If you are working with any camps, any student who want to apply for camp, if you can provide the COE, that helps us a lot. It buys us time to not have to do a release, and the student fills out the release, and then we send it to the other office. And I know that takes a little while to come back sometimes, whether it's from the student to the office, so yeah, if you can provide a COE to the student, let them know, hey, you're going to need this to apply for camp, please, that helps. That would speed things up.
Yeah, and at the same time, it saves time for them, because sometimes they don't know and they need to ask probably their parents to find out who has this document, and that's a barriers and frustration for them because sometimes they don't know. Basically. But thank you for your answer.
Thank you, Olivia.
We still have a few minutes left, so if you're in the call and have questions that you'd like to ask or comments, there's still a little bit of space for that.
Yes, sir. Isamar and Juan, if you have any last comments about our program, definitely please jump in.
Sure, I'd like to take a minute or two. We are able to recruit and connect with students, of course, to get to meet them and get to meet other staff. We encourage y'all or your students to connect with us, to meet with us. There are several opportunities here at Chemeketa that include, of course, the scholarships that we mentioned. There's also Oregon Promise. There's Chemeketa Scholars. There's quite a bit of funding out there that can really help. So if students are eligible for state and federal grants, we want to make sure that they're applying early to be able to get those. So like getting FAFSA completed ASAP. Because again, that also lets you know if they're eligible, or if they have a low EFC, they may be eligible for the Oregon Opportunity Grant, which is around $2,700 this year. So that's additional funding that they could receive in addition to their Pell Grant, which was around $6,495. And then, of course, if they get scholars, Chemeketa Scholars, a 3.5 or higher GPA from high school, and are able to take college reading, writing, and math, they could get their tuition covered for the first 2 years, including the first summer. So there's a lot of great support there. And then in addition to that, we have camp classes that can support. So if you have a student who is thinking about Chemeketa as their primary or secondary, or just thinking about Chemeketa as a possibility, I would say have them connect with one of us, myself or Isamar. We'll have a conversation with them. We'll give them some deadlines of when they should be completing items. We can even send them reminders. The idea is we need to have their information, of course, to be able to, follow up with them. And if they don't make that initial contact, it's hard for us to do that since we don't have their information. So I encourage all of you, if you can, to share our information with students. Again, if it's Plan A or Plan Z, the idea is we want to help with their journey. If we can help them get a scholarship for Chemeketa, great. If we can get a scholarship to go somewhere else, again, we want to help with the opportunity. Of course, we'd love to have them in our program, but again, sometimes not everyone decides to come here at the end or has other opportunities, and we want to respect that, of course, but we want to make sure that they have that funding and the support. And if Chemeketa, like I said, is option A or option B, we want to make sure that all the doors are open, all the funding there is available for them, so that they could get money back, or getting paid to go to college versus having to pay out of pocket. And again, it's just sometimes the money's there. Sometimes it's just having to apply and meet those deadlines, and sometimes a lot of students don't miss those deadlines.
It was nice to learn about the TRIO program more, about it, because I know at this time, as a seniors, there's some students that they don't have their legal status here, and they're discouraged. They said, why do I want to go to college? For what? I'm not going to get a good job. I don't have a security number. I'm just going to go work wherever, So they don't want to apply for college. They don't want to apply for anything. So this way, they can get the help either for, with a TRIO, or even do that 2-year program, something. I always encourage them and say, you know what, things are going to change. Things are changing. And if you just start with community college, who knows, in the long run, by the time you're done, something will change. So yeah, I think we need to keep encouraging them.
Yes, Rosa, thank you. I think, there are some state funds that students could still be eligible for. So that's where the ORSA comes in. So again, I've helped students with ORSA already this year. Again, they're not going to be eligible for camp, but they may be eligible for other programs, like CCP, for example. But of course, they still need to know what that EFC will be when they apply for other scholarships, because there are some scholarships that don't have that requirement of residency status. And again, state grants are available to them if they apply. So again, it's applying early. The ORSA is open right now as well. There's not as much funding, but if we know of a student who's here on campus, I have a family member, for example, a nephew, and he's working for the college as a student leader. He's getting a tuition waiver, and that's helping him pay for this tuition, and he just pays for his fees, which is minimal, in comparison. So he's working on campus, getting some leadership experience, office experience. And of course, his tuition is being covered. He is getting some state grants, some state support, but again, doesn't have as much as everyone else. The idea is that if they're looking for support, send them our way. We'll send them to the right folks to get them connected.
I see that there is a question in the chat, and we have time for just about one more question before we go to our lunch break. The question is, do you ever foresee the camp program to be open for students with DACA or undocumented in the future? I know it's a dream, but just curious if it's ever been talked about.
Yeah, so camp is federally funded, right, from the federal government. I mean, unless there's anything at that level. Unfortunately, it's not a Chemeketa or individual program. Of course, we'd love to serve everybody who wants to come to college. But yeah, those federal level regulations, unfortunately.
All right, thank you so much again for your presentation. If you're present, let's give them a quick applause, and then I'll make some announcements about our next step. So we are going to our lunch break. If you have your agenda in front of you, so we have a solid lunch break today. The next session starts at 12:30. So take a break, get away from Zoom, enjoy your lunches, and then we'll see you when we come back for session 3 at 12:30. Thank you again to everybody that presented on camp today.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.